Welcome, welcome, welcome to Black Cube Productions 2022. I'm your host, Roger Cluton.
And I'm Cassie Cluton. So glad you're here with us today because, Roger, what we're diving into today is honestly one of the most mind-bending topics we've ever covered on this show.
Absolutely. And I want everyone listening right now to just take a breath, open your mind, because today we are talking about the firmament, the human soul, and the extraordinary idea that they share the same frequency, and that the only way to pass through that barrier above us is to shed the meat suit.
The meat suit. I love that phrase. We'll get into that. But let's start at the beginning, Roger. Let's talk about the firmament itself. Because a lot of people hear that word and they think, oh, that's just some old Bible word. But it is so much more than that.
Right. So the word in Hebrew is rakia, and it literally means a hammered out solid dome. Like a metalsmith taking a piece of metal and beating it flat, stretching it out into a vault. The ancient Hebrews, the Babylonians, the Sumerians, all of these ancient Near Eastern cultures described the sky as a solid crystalline dome, a glass ceiling, if you will, separating the waters above from the waters below.
And this isn't just mythology, right? This is cosmology. This is how they understood the actual structure of reality. The firmament was a physical barrier, a boundary. And what's fascinating to me is that this idea didn't just disappear. It keeps showing up in different forms across history.
And it shows up in a very dramatic way in 1962. Operation Fishbowl, Operation Dominic. These were high-altitude nuclear tests conducted by the United States military. They were literally firing nuclear warheads straight up into the upper atmosphere, some reaching altitudes of over 400 kilometers.
And the official story is that they were testing the effects of nuclear detonations in space. But there are researchers who look at those tests and say, wait a minute, why would you fire a nuclear weapon straight up? What exactly were they trying to break through?
Exactly. And here's the thing. They failed. Whatever was up there, it held. The dome held. And then fast forward to more recent times, and NASA itself announces the discovery of what they call an impenetrable barrier in the Van Allen belt region.
This is huge because this is not some fringe researcher saying this. This is NASA. They detected a sharp, almost wall-like boundary in the inner Van Allen radiation belt that was deflecting high-energy electrons, and their own scientists were quoted as saying it behaved like there was an invisible force field up there.
An invisible force field. Their words. And when you line that up with the ancient description of the rakia, the solid hammered dome, you start to see that maybe the ancients weren't being poetic. Maybe they were being literal.
Okay, so now let's bring in the frequency piece, because this is where it gets really beautiful. Tell me about the Schumann resonance.
So, the Schumann resonance, 7.83 hertz. This is the resonant electromagnetic frequency of the cavity between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, or as we're calling it today, the firmament. It's essentially the heartbeat of the Earth. The planet is literally vibrating at 7.83 hertz, bouncing electromagnetic waves between the ground and that dome above us.
And what's incredible is that this frequency, 7.83 hertz, is also deeply connected to human biology. Our brains, in a theta-alpha state, in deep meditation or just before sleep, operate right around that frequency. We are literally tuned to the Earth's heartbeat.
We are resonating with the cavity, with the space between the ground and the dome. And that brings us to the soul, because here's where it gets really deep, Cassie. The human soul, as an electromagnetic entity, is understood by many researchers in spiritual traditions to vibrate at 432 hertz.
432 hertz, the frequency of nature, Verdi's A, the tuning that was used in classical music for centuries before it was changed to 440 hertz in the 20th century. And 432 is harmonically related to 7.83. They are part of the same mathematical family. They resonate together.
The soul's natural frequency is in harmonic alignment with the firmament's frequency. Think about what that means. The soul is literally tuned to the dome. It's like the soul has the key. The soul is the key.
But here's the problem, and this is where the Gnostic tradition comes in, and it's something I find absolutely fascinating. The soul doesn't always get to use that key because it's trapped.
The meat suit.
The meat suit. Okay, so let's talk about this. The physical body, this biological vehicle we're all walking around in, according to Gnostic philosophy, it is not our true self. It is a vessel, a cage, designed, and I use that word deliberately, designed to keep the soul vibrating at a low density.
The Gnostics called the architects of this system the archons. These were demiurgic forces that constructed the material world as a kind of prison, and the body is the cell. It's heavy, it's dense, it's operating at a frequency that is far below what the soul is capable of. The meat suit drags the soul down.
I love the metaphor of the banana and the peel. The banana is the soul, vibrant, alive, full of energy. The peel is the body, the packaging. And as long as you're still in the peel, you can't fully express what's inside.
Or think of it like a Land Rover, a flesh Land Rover. It's a vehicle. It gets you around in this dense physical realm. But you are not the Land Rover. You are the driver. And at some point, you have to get out of the vehicle.
And that's the concept of death, or more accurately, spiritual ascension. When the soul sheds the meat suit, it is no longer weighed down by that low vibrational density. It can return to its natural frequency, 432 hertz, harmonically resonant with 7.83, and that frequency becomes the vibrational key that allows it to pass through the firmament.
This is the soul trap theory. The idea is that souls that have not achieved the right frequency, souls that are still vibrating at a low density because of trauma, fear, unresolved karma, whatever you want to call it, those souls get reflected back. They can't pass through the dome. They get recycled into reincarnation.
The firmament acts like a filter, a frequency gate. Only the souls that have done the work, that have raised their vibration to match the resonance of the dome, can pass through to whatever is on the other side.
And this is not just a spiritual metaphor. This is physics, frequency matching, resonance. If you want to pass through a barrier, you have to vibrate at the frequency of that barrier. It's the same principle as a tuning fork. Strike one at 432 hertz, and another tuned to the same frequency will begin to vibrate in sympathy.
And this brings us to one of my absolute favorite pieces of evidence, cymatics. Have you ever seen cymatic experiments where they play a tone through a plate covered in sand or water?
Oh, this is stunning. At 432 hertz specifically, the matter on that plate forms into these extraordinary geometric patterns, star shapes, mandalas, sacred geometry, patterns that look exactly like the star formations we see when we look up at the night sky through the firmament.
The frequency of the soul, expressed through matter, creates the image of the stars. The soul is literally mirroring the cosmos. At 432 hertz, you are not just resonating with the firmament, you are reflecting it. You are becoming it.
As above, so below. The ancient Hermetic principle. The macrocosm and the microcosm are the same. The firmament above and the soul within. Same frequency, same geometry, same truth.
And I think that's the most profound takeaway from everything we've talked about today. This isn't about doom and gloom. This isn't about being trapped forever. This is about understanding the system so you can transcend it. The firmament is not your enemy. It's a threshold, and your soul already has the key.
The work is to raise your vibration, to shed the low-frequency programming, the fear, the distraction, the noise of the material world, and let the soul return to its natural resonance, 432 hertz. The frequency of nature, the frequency of the cosmos, the frequency of home.
I genuinely get chills every time we talk about this stuff. Roger, this has been such an incredible conversation. I feel like we've only scratched the surface, honestly.
We have so much more to explore, and that's exactly why we need you, our amazing audience, to stay with us. If this episode made you think, if it made you question, if it gave you that feeling in your gut that says there is more to this reality than we've been told, then please smash that like button, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you never miss what we put out next.
Seriously, sharing is how this information spreads. Every share, every like, every new subscriber, it helps us keep doing what we do. And we have some incredible episodes coming up that you do not want to miss.
From me, Roger Cluton, thank you for listening. Keep questioning. Keep vibrating higher. The dome is not the end. It's the beginning.
And from me, Cassie Cluton, thank you so much for being part of this journey with us. Until next time, take care of your soul. It knows the way home. We'll see you on the other side.
This has been Black Cube Productions 2022. Stay curious, stay awake, and we'll see you next time.